And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan Metzler here, and today we're going to take a look at a Russian board game called Shinobi. It doesn't say that on this box, but it's called Shinobi. This is a pretty simple card game for 3 to 5 players. It's going to play really fast, and it's kind of a secret agenda game in which players are playing cards to the table, trying to keep the most of their cards in play. So real quick, we'll take a look at what you get inside the box and how the game plays, and then we'll come back here and get my final opinions on it. So here you can see the components for Shinobi. It's pretty simple. You have a deck of cards, and then you have these secret clan cards. There are 5 of them because the game plays up to 5 players. What you're going to do at the beginning of the game is shuffle these up and deal 1 to each player, removing any leftovers from the game. So this one here will be removed from the game. Now, each player is going to have a secret clan that they're trying to keep out on the board. And in this case, I am red. So I'm red. I don't know what these other players are, but my objective is to have the most red cards out on the table at the end of the game. In addition, each player is going to get 4 cards from this deck, and these are going to be the cards they have to start the game with. So, after everyone has their 4 cards, we'll start the game, and let's say I'm the first player. I'll take a look at my hand of cards. I have 2 purples, a blue, and a yellow. Not great, because I'd like to control red as much as possible on the board, but that's okay. On my turn, I have to do 3 things, if possible. The first is I must play one of these cards from my hand to someone else's play area. These play areas represent regions of Japan. They're not owned by that player, but the important part is that you can't be the area in front of you. So maybe I play this purple card here in front of this player here, the player across from me. And he has a purple in his region. That is my first action. I must play 1 card to someone else's area. My second action is that I may either move 1 card from someone else's area to another area, either someone else's or my own, or I may play a card from my hand into my own area. So maybe I don't want to put more purple out there. Purple's not my objective, but maybe I'll put this yellow out in front of me. At this point, I have to do what's called an attack, and I look and see if I can attack anybody. You can attack any color or any person's cards, not your own, but any other person's cards in piles that have less than your piles and aren't the same color. So, in theory, if I had 2 yellows, I could attack this purple, and it would remove 1 card from the stack, eliminating this card from the game. But since they're of equal numbers, I can't. At this point, I would draw back up, and I would add more cards to my hand until I'm at 4. And then the next player in turn order would go. So maybe they have this hand of cards. They have 2 yellows, a green, and a blue. And you can see here that their goal is purple. So they're happy with that purple there, but they probably don't want this yellow out here. So what they may do is they may play, let's say they play green to this area, and they play blue to their own area. Now, they can't attack again, so there's nothing really going on here that's going to help them, but they would end their turn drawing back up, and the third player would go. And the third player has this hand of cards. They are green, blue, blue, red, and they would like to keep blues out. Well, they've got a good starting hand here. What they may do, in order to protect blue, is play this blue card to the player here that only has 1. This makes it safe from every other color out on the board. All of these colors are less, so they can't attack a larger pile. In addition, it may be wise for them to, for example, move something to their own area if they wanted to. There's really nothing that will strengthen them here, so maybe they play this red out in their own area and keep it weak. So now they've got some weak cards that they'd like to see get killed, and they have a blue strong pile over here, which is great for them, and they draw back up to 4 cards. And then our last player goes on his turn, and he's going to look and see what he has. So he has 2 reds, a green, and a purple, and he is the yellow player. So he wants to keep this yellow safe, but he doesn't really have a great way to do so. However, what he can do is he can play out this, let's say he plays a red out here to this player because he doesn't really want to strengthen red. He plays the green in his own area, and now he can make an attack. So perhaps he thinks that this player over here is going for red. He would go ahead and say, all right, let's attack with my 2 green to this red right here. He can't attack any pile of card that was modified during this turn. So he couldn't go ahead and attack the red that he just played out. So he'll attack a pile that wasn't already out. Maybe actually he decides to attack this purple. It's been here for a while. He's going to attack this purple, and it will get removed from the game because the pile would go down by 1. So the purple is gone from the game. He looks at his hand. He only has 2 left, and he draws back up. Now, you're going to play in this manner until this draw deck is exhausted. and you're going to go ahead and keep playing. You're going to play one card to someone else's area, either play one to your own or move one around the table, and then attack somebody that is smaller than one of your clans until the draw pile is exhausted. After the draw pile is exhausted, everyone gets one more turn around the table in order to try and adjust to the standing of the table. Now, there is a special type of card in this deck called a ninja, and they look like this. They have no symbol on them so that you can distinguish them. These ninjas can be played instead of your first play on your turn, playing to someone else's area, in order to reduce the size of any pile by 1. However, if you do that, you can no longer attack that pile and reduce it by more because you've already modified it during the turn. So, if you get one of these in hand, it's easy to remove a card that you don't like out on the table, but it prevents you from attacking it more later. But anyhow, you'll go through this whole deck, and everybody gets one more turn, and at the end of the game, everyone will reveal their secret clan card, and you'll see who has the most cards out on the table of their secret color. Now, if it's a tie at that point, it goes to whoever has the most of their color in the area in front of them. So the area in front of you, you want to keep your color cards in just in case of a tiebreaker. But essentially, whoever has the most of their color out in the center of the table at the end of the game will be the winner. Well, there you have it. That is Shinobi by Right Games, a Russian board game company. I've played several of their games: Potion Making Practice, the Potion Making Practice Expansion, Evolution, Origin of Species, and by far this is my favorite of their games so far. It's a very short game, a very light game, but one that has interesting elements. You have that aspect of a secret agenda. You're trying to figure out what each player is going for, and it's not always blatantly obvious. I had a very hard time sometimes figuring out what certain players were trying to do, and I therefore lost the game. But if you can figure it out, I think it gives you a distinct advantage. It's very simple to play. You play a card, you play or move a card, and then you attack someone, and those are all of the rules. So very simple, very light, and very fast, but with enough strategic depth to make it interesting. I can definitely recommend players check out Shinobi. I think it's a game that will be a nice filler for a lot of collections, and one that a lot of people will enjoy.
Thanks for watching our review today. For more information about board games, as well as the #1 board game audio podcast, check out Dicetower.com for reviews, interviews, and more. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.